Students here at Ness Middle School are all getting one of these, a new iPad mini. The hope is that it will engage them in a different way than a textbook does. Good evening, I'm Aadel Haleem. Fire crews are currently on the scene of a house fire burning in the city's north end. Crews were called to this house in the 400 block of Aberdeen Avenue at about 9 o'clock. Flames and smoke could be seen coming from the house.
It was an intense, fast-moving system that hit in the evening, and it left a lot of damage behind. CBC's Aadel Haleem joins us now live to show you some of that damage.
Sheets of metal flew from the top of that shed all the way across this field and onto Highway 44. And the owner of this farm tells me he's just happy nobody got hurt and fears what could have been if this happened on Friday when people are driving to the White Shell.
Yeah, it's a mess. But look, the garden is not damaged.
We now know that last week's homicide here on Langside was a case of mistaken identity. Police say the 20-year-old victim was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, who was Nigel Dixon?
CBC's Aadel Haleem joins us live to show you what happened.
There used to be a garage right here, but just over a year ago, as you can see, it was torched. Fast forward to this morning, and this garage in the 400 block of Arlington suffered the same fate.
This is where he was standing. This is where he threw it in, right here.
And, no turban. So what you'd be wearing right now would not be allowed.
I would not be allowed
while
to
you're
wear
at work.
turbans. And then I can't go out in public unless I wear a turban. So I don't know what to expect.
These Winnipeggers are reacting to Quebec's proposed Charter of Values.
We propose that religious neutrality applies to all people working for the state.
It would forbid public sector employees like teachers, daycare workers, and doctors from wearing religious symbols like headscarves, kippas, large crosses, and turbans.
And how many of those doctors have saved lives? And now because they wear a turban, they're not allowed to work.
Similar to drinking and driving, texting and driving don't mix. That's the message from the province. So the hope is that when you get behind the wheel, you'll put away your phone. These soldiers are not training for a combat mission in Kandahar. They're preparing for Operation Attention in Kabul, Canada's final mission in Afghanistan, where they'll train and mentor the Afghan National Army. On December 15th, the province implemented mandatory ignition interlocks for all convicted impaired drivers, even if it was just your first offense. That comes with a $2,000 price tag. And Manitoba Public Insurance says you're also looking at least 10 demerit points, which will increase your premiums. While the Registered Retirement Savings Program is a great way for some Canadians to put money away for their future, it may not be for everyone. Stats Canada says Manitoba has the lowest median RRSP contributions in the country. So, should you be putting away more dollar bills for your future? Genocide is a highly charged term. Are we as Canadians ready to use it to describe our past? The Canadian Museum for Human Rights doesn't think so. For Fred Kelly, the number of atrocities his people and he himself went through, the description is a no-brainer.
That is genocide. That was an attempt at extermination based on hatred, based on racism, based on all of these negative factors that human beings exercise on other human beings.
He's a residential school survivor and underwent nutritional experiments conducted in the 1940s and 50s.
And the other 5 genocides that are recognized by Canada and the international community did happen, and the residential school history and the history of our peoples did happen. That's a fact.
The Canadian Museum for Human Rights acknowledges what it calls a gross and systemic human rights violation of Indigenous people, but it stops short of declaring it a genocide.
We are not a court, we are not an academic institution. We rely on those sources for information to inform our exhibits.
When he's not skateboarding with friends,
to create account, right?
Sky Spence likes to tap into social networks. So when the 17-year-old heard about a new anonymous question and answer website called Ask.fm, he decided to check it out.
It was all right for the first, few weeks, and then soon enough, people started to progress and started asking me, questions, whether I was a virgin, or asking me personal questions, right?
But that's not all.
I'm an Aboriginal person, so I've been asked, why am I such a dirty native, something like that, some serious questions.
Ask.fm has been around for 3 years, but has only gained popularity here in the last 6 months. Now it has nearly 57 million users worldwide. The site has been linked internationally to extreme cyberbullying and harassment, and sometimes much worse.
This site has absolutely seen or been associated with kids, teens committing suicide.
Turning to sports, heads continue to roll in Bomberland. This time it's Gary Croughton on the chopping block. The Blue Bombers have canned their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Now Marcel Belfay will step in and take over those duties. The Bombers are 1-6 on the season, due in large part to a lack of production from the offense. Belfay was brought in just last week as a consultant. He was the head coach of the Tiger Cats from 2009 to 2011. Still ahead, I'll have your full weather forecast. We're back in 60 seconds.